Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this series on the Kaspersky Security Center Cloud Console. This is a series of educational videos that focuses primarily on this particular product. Now, for this particular episode, we are going to have a look at the remote diagnostics capability, remote execution of different operations on both Windows and Linux-based client devices. For us to start with the process like that, what we will do is we will go ahead and move to our asset management section, finally select assets, and from here we will highlight the particular device that we intend on pulling the specific logs off of. And in the device properties window that will obviously open up, we select the advanced tab. From here, we are going to click the remote diagnostics button, and then from there we are going to go ahead and enable and or disable the tracing on a specific remote device. From here, we're going to select the Kaspersky Applications tab. In the application list, we select the application for which you want to enable or disable the tracing itself. So you can think of tracing as the logging functionality to review at a later point. If you want to enable the tracing, we go to the tracing section and click Enable Tracing. Finally, click on Save. If you want to disable the tracing for the selected application, we can click on Disable Tracing, of course. Once the tracing is concluded, you can click on the trace files, and then from here you can select to download the entire file to the system. This is usually where we will then start evaluating the content of the logs and or share it with some technical support engineers. Once we are done, we can click on the remove button to remove it, and we can continue on. So from here, we can also go ahead and we can enable XPerf tracing. So if a technical support specialist requests for you to enable XPerf tracing for the information about the system performance in general, what we need to do is we go ahead and we enable and configure the XPerf tracing. So in the XPerf tracing section, we click on XPerf tracing. From there, we go ahead and we select the level at which we want this tracing to function. So light level or deep level. Then we go ahead and we select on the following XPerf tracing types: the basic type or the restart type, and finally click on Save. So if you want to disable the XPerf tracing for Kaspersky Endpoint Security for Windows, for example, we click on Disable XPerf Tracing in the XPerf Tracing section. Then we go ahead and we need to have a look at the trace files itself from that particular application. To do this, we go to download the trace file of an application, and this can be done in the tracing section. We click on the trace files button, and in the list of trace files, we select the file that you want to go ahead and download. Once you've selected it, we can click on the download entire file button. You can delete the trace files that are obviously no longer needed. So in this case, it's clear for the next time. But in this regard, we click on, we go to the file and we click on the remove button. Now, if we want to go ahead and we download application settings, maybe system information from a client device, and even of course logs, to do this we go to the application settings from a particular client device in question, and in the application settings section we click on the download button to download all of the information about the settings of the particular applications installed on that client device. If we want to download the system information, we go to the same device and we select the System Information tab, and then from there we can click on the download button once again to download the system information about that device. And the same will apply for your event log. So from here we can go ahead and we can download the event log from a remote device on the Event Logs tab, and we can click on All Device Logs. So we can then from there select one or even several relevant logs that we want to have a look at. From here we can also remotely start or stop or even restart the applications as part of Kaspersky. So from here, to be able to do that, we go to the start, stop or restart of an application, and we select the Kaspersky Applications tab. From here, we will see the list of applications, and we can select the specific one that we want to start, stop, or restart. Once we have selected an action by clicking one of those buttons, it will proceed. Additionally, we can also run the remote diagnostics of an application and download that particular result. To start the diagnostics for an application on a remote device and of course download the results, we can select the application for which we want to remote diagnose, right? So we can run that remote diagnostics. So in the diagnostics report section, we can click on run diagnostics, and from there we can download the diagnostics report once the configuration is concluded. We can also then run an application on a particular client device. So in this case, for any client devices, if we wanted to run a third-party application, we can run the application remotely on that particular device by selecting the Running a Remote Application tab. And from here, in the object type field, we select the type of object that you want to upload. So this can be a file, a folder, or even an archive. And we will upload the object by selecting it in the system window or dragging it to the upload field, of course. If necessary, in the command line arguments field, we can specify the command line arguments to be passed when running the executable file. Finally, we click on upload and run, and we can select the application on the client device. After the application execution is completed successfully, we can download the execution results by clicking on the Download Application Execution Results button. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of this particular episode on the Kaspersky Security Center Cloud Console. As usual, we appreciate the time you have spent to watch our videos, and we hope to see you next time. Goodbye.